All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Let's Talk Rockets, episode number 41 here today. Off season, yep, we all know it. Told you guys we're gonna get super niched all summer, the rest of summer, and early fall until Rockets basketball is back. And we're starting that off today. We're gonna do what's next for Kevin Porter Jr. The answer is a lot simpler than you may think, and yeah, basically the answer is nothing happens to Kevin Porter Jr. He's in the perfect spot. Kevin Porter Jr. is in the perfect spot right now. And yeah, so we're live here Monday, July 24th. Got the birthday on Wednesday. Haven't done this in a couple of days, but we are back on track. Like I said, we're going to get super niched here for all you die hard and normally hard in a non, you get it phrased weird, but you get it. So hit the like button, hit that sub button. Beautiful day here in Southwest Florida, as always. Another heater, but yeah, guys, we're doing these, and they're always going to be on Apple Podcasts and Spotify podcasts if you want to listen to it in podcast form. The links always going to be in the description, or just type in Let's Talk Rockets. If you are listening on a streaming platform, if you wouldn't mind leaving a 5-star review so we can climb up the rankings. And if you're watching us live on YouTube, if you could hit the like button so we could get as many Rocket fans in here as possible. I apologize for this Bills jersey here. We're trying to bring back the early 2000s fashion, and I realized I don't really own many t-shirts. So yeah, we're talking Kevin Porter Jr. today. I'm realizing, of course, because why would my notepad be over there? But it is. So with that being said, as always, if you're watching here on YouTube, feel free, please do actually go ahead and throw some chats down below what you're thinking. We don't only have to talk about Kevin Porter Jr. in today, but we are going to focus the first half of discourse on Kevin Porter Jr. So KPJ. All right. I love to use Kevin Porter Jr. These fucking gnats, man. Can you ever see these gnats on the stream? Basically, there's a lamp. There's a lamp right here, and they love to go to that fucking lamp, and they love getting in this apartment. Anyways, Kevin Porter Jr., Jordan Poole, I love making the comparison, and it sounds a little bit shitty, but the point is this. What's next for Kevin Porter Jr.? Who knows? The Rockets are what's next for KPJ. Heading into last season, there were things we wanted to see from Kevin Porter Jr. to know if he was going to be our franchise point guard or just kind of, the point guard, the dude. What's the future of Kevin Porter Jr. on the Rockets was what we were looking at last season. So he has a phenomenal season. KPJ had a great year, 19.2 from the field, 5.3 rebounds, 5.7 assists. So getting close to 19, 5 and 6 territory. Basically, that is, if you were to round up his statistics. He shot 44.2% from the field, which tied his career high in his rookie season with Cleveland. We got that's not fired. Thankfully, got another ant there. And he shot 36.6% from downtown. 1.5 steals, technically 1.4 steals per game. And unfortunately, we did see the turnover number go up to 3.2. So heading into last year, what we were looking at was actually one of the big things outside of play. And it wasn't, I need KPJ to average this. I need Kevin to do that. It was more of all of the stuff going on behind the scenes, off the court, sometimes on the court, like we saw when he left. And that was just kind of a really weird situation a couple of years back. The big thing was maturity. What do we want to see from Kevin next year? We want to see maturity. And usually when you have this type of stuff, like these outbursts or these incidents in the locker room or out on the court, it's usually, in my opinion, especially with younger players, it's more of they want it so badly, they care so much, as opposed to this guy doesn't care at all. He literally doesn't give a shit. It's more of no, he gives so many shits that if it doesn't go how he wants it to go, if you're a super competitive player and you lose, what are you gonna be, fucking happy? You're gonna throw a smile on your face? No, dude. I'm gonna be a sport about it, but I'm gonna be respectful, but I'm not happy right now. So point is, Kevin Porter Jr., that was a big thing we wanted to see this past season was maturity. And it was not a thing at any point in the season. Like all of the, Kevin would be so good, but he's a head case. He's a locker room cancer. That like completely, that never really picked up steam. But if there was any steam, it was completely set away this past season. Number two, a big thing was fit. What's the fit with Jalen Green? Okay. How does he fit with Jalen? And then it gets a little bit deeper with new draft pick Jabari Smith Jr. How's that fit there? But it was mainly Şengün and Jalen, but more so Jalen Green. The thought process was then, Jalen Green's the guy. Jalen Green's our guy. Even if he's not our quote-unquote franchise player, he's still going to be probably a 25-point per game scorer. He's going to be a career 20-plus point per game scorer. So how does he fit with Jalen Green? Both of them don't need a point guard necessarily. I don't classify Kevin's more of a shooting guard to me. You could call him a combo guard, not a point guard first. And I don't mean that in a shitty way. It's just he's talented at point guard, but it's not his true position. We traded for him and we threw him down in the G League to learn the point guard position and to kind of possibly be our next James Harden. And keep in mind the way the NBA is trending these days, especially, is more positionless basketball. So I don't care, and that's actually one of his strengths. Kevin's strengths is his versatility, that he could play 1 through 3. He's big enough, he's long enough, and he has the guard skills enough to play 1 through 3 and to guard 1 through 3. He's actually a pretty solid defender. I would say usually at worst, Kevin was an adequate defender, but for the most part, he's hustling, he's trying out there. And usually if you're hustling and trying out there and you're not a dutz, usually you're going to be a solid defender. So no defensive concerns, regardless of the position Kevin's playing. But obviously the Rockets drafted Amen Thompson at pick number 4, and they signed Freddie Double V, Rockford's finest, to a 3-year contract with a team option. So the Kevin Porter Jr. experiment as the starting point guard, that's done. It's done now. We've seen, and you're going to see it all summer, because we have 3 months till live Rockets basketball, or just live basketball in general in the NBA. You're going to see some ridiculous comments. You're going to see some ridiculous opinions. Hopefully it's not on this show, but there's going to be some probably opinions or two that are disagreeable with. I've seen stuff of KPJ being the 2 and beating Jalen Green. That would never happen in my world. If Kevin Porter Jr. was going to be a starter, he'd be at the 3. Once again, the Dillon Brooks acquisition, I think, sets that done. The good news is starting games means nothing. It literally means nothing. If you're a trainer in the NBA, and maybe you're not like, what's that Brinkley guy? You're not having all these NBA All-Stars. If you're an NBA trainer, one of the big things is, when you're going from college to the NBA, is accepting your role. Because if you're accepting your role and you're doing whatever the role you've been given to the best of your ability is, you're going to play. If you start making stupid mistakes, going outside of the system, outside of what you're supposed to do, and especially if it doesn't work, you're going to get plugged. Back to Jordan Poole. Kevin Porter Jr., I think possibly by the end of this upcoming season, I think the narrative will be he's on one of the best contracts in the NBA. And I think Rafael Stone paid him at the perfect time, especially because if he hit unrestricted free agency this season after a 19-5-6 season, a team would want to snag him up. A team like the Wizards would be like, oh, that's the Jordan Poole of the Houston Rockets. Let's take that flyer, because at the end of the day, KP just turned 23 in May. He was 22 all of last season, so still an extremely young point guard. But he's been in the league for a couple of seasons where it's like, he could be ready to take that next step. So I'm so glad the Rockets extended him, and at the price they did, especially the guarantees. They set themselves up where if the KPJ experiment was a complete disaster, and maybe the maturity wasn't there and the fit wasn't there and nothing was there, they could have cut him loose they could cut him loose now with no repercussions, essentially. He's on a 4-year, $63.4 million contract. And my point with the whole fit and accepting your role and the Jordan Poole is this: KPJ's a scorer. I mean, Kevin's a bucket. Kevin's a walking bucket. He's a stud. He's one of the best catch and shoot 3-point shooters in the entire NBA, let alone at his position. KP can hoop. Kevin can hoop, man. We all know this dude can hoop. So what's he going to do on the bench? Well, he's still going to hoop. He's just not the starting point guard. He's still going to get probably 25 to 30 minutes a night. Jordan Poole, good example. 2 years ago, Golden State, he actually started a little. He started 51 games, so he started too many games. He averaged 30. Coming off the bench in the playoffs, 27.5 minutes a night with only 5 starts and 22 games played. I think that's a good indicator of, Kevin's going to see 20 to 25 minutes a night, and he's going to put up probably not 20, but he's going to put up between 15 to 20 points per game, and he's going to get you a couple of rebounds, and he's going to get you a couple of assists. And to have a guy like that off of the bench, going back to the whole NBA trainer thing, they're crucial parts to championship caliber teams. The narrative is always the bench gets thinner into the playoffs, which is true. You go from maybe a 10-man rotation in the regular season, you cut it down to like an 8-man rotation. It's usually, I think, more 7-man rotation with an 8th wild card, a guy. A good example would be Christian Braun. It's going to be so important to have KPJ once the Rockets get into the playoffs. 1 second, Karan, but what's up to you? We're going to finish this tangent on Kevin real quick. Having an able 20-point per game score off of the bench goes the longest of ways. And now the Rockets have that for whatever 63 divided by 4 is a year. I mean, it's just a steal. What is that, like 16.8? Not a mathematician. What is it? That might just be 18 flat, 18.5. Where's the calculator? I obviously don't use it ever. Oh, it's all the way back there. 63.4 divided by 4, $15.8 million a year. You're going to take a 20-esque point per game score. So my point is this, and I tweeted this out a couple of days ago, and the links down below if you want to follow my Twitter. Kevin's in such a good spot because he's still going to see ample playing time to put the Rockets and himself in a couple of different positions. He sets it free agency 3 years from now in 2027. So he's going to, like we said, he's going to do his thing. He's going to hoop. He's going to get buckets. He's going to get assists. He's going to shoot threes. He's going to make threes. He's going to defend. He's going to play. He's going to do what he does. That's going to help the Rockets, not only for now and for the next couple of years, but it also might help 2 years from now where it's like, oh, shoot, all right, Kevin is going to get paid 2 years from now. And we're probably not going to be the team that pays him because we already have our guys. We already have our starting unit. So let's get value for him. Now he goes to a team that sees the value like a Wizards, and they're like, starting point guard, starting guard, here's the keys. You're 26 years old only. So here's the keys. You're entering the prime of your NBA career. Or he just helps Houston until 2027. And yeah, I mean, it's just a win-win for not only the Rockets, but for Kevin Porter Jr. Everybody wins. So I think he's a really good candidate for 6th man of the year. Maybe not this next year because I don't think the Rockets will sniff 50 wins. But 2 or 3 years from now, I think KPJ will be one of the best 6th mans in the NBA if he is on the Houston Rockets roster still. And keep in mind, guys get injured. Fred, Jalen, Brooks, these guys get injured or they get sick and they miss a couple of games, or they have a kid or whatever it is and they miss a couple of games, and Kevin's going to get some starts next season. So he's in a good position, and you're also in a spot where for his sake, you take that bench role, and it's not going to be an issue because KPJ is a matured professional, and you just learn under Ime. You learn under Fred. You learn under these vets. And yeah, I still am very big on Kevin Porter Jr.'s future in the NBA. He's a starter. He's a starting capable player. And the Rockets we're in a good position, man. We have so much talent that Kevin Porter Jr. is coming off of our bench. Very good situation. So be a part of a winning team. Other teams see that. We always say it on this show. it's not just your skill, it's not just your talent. Players and who players are as people is very important, especially to the front offices, especially to these GMs. They want guys who are professionals, good people, good athletes. It all goes into it. So Kevin's got a really bright future in the NBA. He's already had a very good career in the NBA, and I'm thrilled that he's still on the Houston Rockets because that contract is money, and he's a money player. What's up, Thomas? You just missed the end of that. We just basically talked about why Kevin Porter Jr. is in a beautiful position right now with the Houston Rockets, and everybody wins. 23-year-old coming off of almost 25-6 season, one of the best catch and shoot three-point shooters in the league. It's a great shooter. We really need shooting. Combo guard, can guard a couple of positions, and he's going to have a nice role in the Rockets this next season. So, Presti drafts people over players. It's a big deal, man. It's a really big deal. Some Rocket fans told me that KPJ was better than Shea. Yeah, I mean, no, I don't think. I mean, obviously, I disagree. Shea's one of the best in the biz already. But Kevin can get a bucket. A 1v1 of Kevin and Shea would be close. Because they're all in the NBA, they all can get buckets. But yeah, Shea's a superstar already. Or he's already a star. He's not a superstar quite yet, but he's already a star in this league. I can't believe this. We have 2 people already commenting this. JD, how likely is it that KPJ starts over Jalen? Well, theoretically, nothing's impossible, right? So I'm going to go 0.01%. Is the chance KP starts over Jalen. How do you know he's coming off of the bench? Where is he going to start? I don't know. Sorry, Unk, but that I've ranted about this on the NBA show so much. Bench players are so important. Bruce Brown, like the prime example from this past year. Bench players are so important. Kevin should be licking his chops, and he probably is licking his chops. So the 6-man role, especially on the Rockets, would be this. So the starters play for however many minutes, and Fred and Jalen play whatever, and first subs come in. So we're a couple of minutes in, or we're 6 minutes in or whatever when the first subs come in, and whoever it is, Fred or Jalen gets subbed out. They both get subbed out, whatever. The bench comes in. So you're Kevin Porter Jr., you're a 20-point per game scorer against starters in the NBA. Well, now who am I playing? I'm playing second-string NBA players. Not a shot at second-string NBA players because they're so much better than me, and it's an important role. But my point is Kevin can get a bucket on anybody in the NBA. We saw him get 50 of them a couple of years ago against Milwaukee. We saw him get 20 a night this past season, and now you're going against bench players, the bench unit, and you're coming off of the bench, and your job is to command and be the leader of this bench unit and just score. Set your teammates up and just score. So he's probably licking his chops here, but I mean, the reason he's come off the bench is because Freddie's better than him, Jalen's better than him, and Dylan Brooks is better than him. So, and it would be nothing like Harden coming off the bench in OKC. And Harden coming off the bench in OKC was money. Harden was not quite at that level where he was going to be starting. What did James average? First 3, rookie year, 10 points, second year, 12, third year, 16.8. It's like a better Harden coming off the bench statistically, but I guess Harden was getting 31 minutes a night off of the bench. Harden was still closing games out, but he wasn't starting for him. And that's a route the Rockets could take, and we'll probably see that if he's got a hot hand. But Dylan and Fred for the defense, and then Jalen being picked at pick 2 3 years ago, he's going to have that nod over him. Jalen's been putting in the work, man. Jalen's been putting in a lot of work. Putting in the work with a lot of stars. What was recently the other day, Kuzma. This past weekend, So Jalen Green, man, he could be ready. He could be ready. And yeah, and this is something when Amon got drafted, we've been talking about this for weeks. When was the NBA draft? How long ago was that? It wasn't that long ago, but it wasn't that short ago. Anyways, Amon Thompson and Kevin Porter Jr. off of the bench is going to be nasty. The Houston Rockets bench is pretty nasty as it is, especially if we continue to see like Tari Eason ascend. The ascension of Tari is huge. But that bench unit, you got Londale there now. You still have Jayshawn Tate, a backcourt duo of Amon Thompson and KPJ. I still think Amon's going to be brought in very slowly. I think Amon will see 15 a night to start off the season, which means even more playing time and even more ball in the hands of Kevin. So I think Kevin will probably start the season playing around 30 a night, with Amon only playing probably 15. And the good news is by the end of the season, no matter what the playing time's looking like, the fit in and of itself of Amon and Kevin is beautiful, because just like Kevin and Jalen Green, they both don't need the ball to score, and they both can score with the ball. Amon Thompson off ball is a smart player. He knows exactly what he needs to do. And Kevin Porter Jr., phenomenal catch and shoot 3-point shooter. So just the ball handling in the bench, the playmaking off of the bench is going to be great. And those boys are going to run, man. They're going to run and gun. They're going to run teams off of the floor like we tried to do last season, but now we have, a little bit more of a rounded out depth chart. And, but yeah, Tari, Amon, dude, just the thought of Tari, Amon, and Kevin running it off of the bench in transition is, they're going to have teams gassed. They're going to have that. They're going to gas these teams. Throw Kevin in 6 minutes into a first quarter to gas, whoever maybe playing James Harden, get James Harden gassed. Like the Rockets, Ime has a lot of toys he can play around with this upcoming season. So, yeah, great spot, man. Rockets are in a good spot. And as we always say, if Amon Thompson had played more than one full, or if he had even played the full, if Amon had played one more Summer League game, the hype would be insane. And the hype already is insane, but it did start. You can tell it's died down since his first game. And even Amon Thompson's Summer League debut, his debut in the league, kind of got overshadowed by Jabari's game winner and Tari Eason, Cam Whitmore. So, yeah, Amon's a stud, man. But, all right, that's really it for today. Keep it short, keep it simple. Not too much going on in the chat, so I appreciate JD, Thomas, Unc, Mike, and Karam carrying the load. Once again, do these pretty much every day. They're available on streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Type in Let's Talk Rockets. Links down below. My Twitter is also down there. And we'll see you tomorrow with another, I'll probably do something about Alperen Sengun. So, yeah, stay tuned. And thanks for watching. See you guys.